Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, I guess Mother Nature folks definitely heard all our prayers for warmer weather, and I think maybe I got things mixed up a little bit asking for hot weather. Boy, I tell you what, a weekend for the record books, to say the least, as far as the hot temperatures are concerned, but that didn't affect the number of people that were going out, and honestly it was just a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people went out, enjoyed the outdoors, and a lot of people caught fish, and that's the good thing. Now I think with the warmer weather pattern, it's going to be interesting to see how it changes up the bite a little bit as far as what they're actually hitting on. But some of the lakes up in the Northeast that produced walleyes this past week and weekend included Bitter, Wabe, Horseshoe, Indian Springs, Big Stone, Hendricks, Dry by Florence, as well as Compesca, and that's just to name a few. And then down the southeastern part of the state, those lakes included Henry, Albert, Ponce, Oakwood, both east and west, Thompson, Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Island, Twin Lake, which is again the trophy lake, and then also Madison and 81 Ponds. Now, what have guys been using? A lot of people have been using live bait, a lot of jigs and minnows. Also, now a lot of people are starting to shift over to crawlers. And honestly, we've seen and heard a lot of nice big fish being caught using the slow death rig, whether or not it's just by itself or with the smiley or with the smile or the butterfly blade. So keep that in mind. I think that's going to be the big trick coming up. That thing's going to be switching more to a crawler and leech bite over the minnows if this warm weather continues. Other than that, a lot of guys are still having success throwing jigs and swim baits, and that seems to be producing some really nice fish, especially up in the northeastern part of the state. And then as far as the crappie bite is concerned, a lot of guys have been talking about some of the crappies and whether or not they're being caught out there. There have been a few lakes producing crappies, and those lakes include Thompson, which has been doing fairly well lately, and then also Alvin, Vermilion, and then Ponce. And what have guys been using? A lot of jigs and small minnows, and then again, the infamous shiny hiney. If you don't have a shiny hiney, if you know what I mean, make sure you stop on by the store and pick one up. We'll make sure you have exactly what you need for that crappie bite. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about a subject that we typically talk about come July, because that's usually when the heat sets in. But since we had such an unbelievably hot weekend, I think it's appropriate to talk about it now, and that's what we're going to refer to as bait care. How do you take care of your bait, especially when it's a hot day like we've seen this past weekend, whether or not you're talking about crawlers and minnows. Folks, the main thing with minnows is obviously when you get them from here, with the water temperature of 45 to 50 degrees, you get out in that body of water, it's going to be drastically warmer. And so you need to really kind of ease those minnows into it and just kind of don't dump them in right away. And then also don't place the minnows directly on a block of ice when you're transporting them. That can send the minnows into shock. So either going into warm or extreme cold conditions can shock them and can cause the minnows to die. And so when you're out there, the other thing is you can use a Frable flow troll. That works really well. But the other thing is also use an angle cooler. Now, we sell a lot of the angle coolers. There's 3 different sizes. That's a great way to keep your minnows alive because it's insulated and it's also aerated. So it's a great way on a hot summer day to keep those minnows alive. And then as far as crawlers are concerned, a lot of people like to have crawlers in bedding, and I do too. I don't like to mess in the boat, but honestly, the crawlers will stay alive better in dirt, and it will also stay cooler. But the thing is that what you can do, especially on a long trip, you can have a half flat or a flat of crawlers in your fridge in dirt and then transport them or transfer them to a container with bedding in it. But the main thing again is keep those crawlers as cool as you possibly can. You can keep a Frable, a double top or a flip top crawler container in your cooler without any problem. And the main thing is, again, to minimize the amount of exposure to the sunlight that your minnows or your crawlers get. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And folks, before we end this report, I want to remind you of some things that we have going on here at the store. Number one, we have some great deals on some combos, some rods, and some nets. Make sure you stop on by and take a look at some of the sales that we have ongoing here at the store. Also, don't forget about our unbelievable price on Shad Wraps. The entire Shad Wrap family by Rapala, whether that's the glass, the jointed, the regular, the shallow, all family priced at $5.99. An unbelievable deal. Not on sale. That's our year-long price, folks. You're not going to find that in too many other locations. The other thing I want to let you know of it, I will not be doing a fishing report for next week. This is the time for my family and I to go up into Canada for our annual fishing trip. So we'll be talking to you about that trip after I get back, but I hope you understand that next week we will not have a 2-minute fishing report because hopefully I'm catching that trophy up in Canada. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-minute fishing report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on. We'll see you next time. And again, thanks for watching.